All right, guys, Terrence here with Retro DNA, and I'm super excited to go over with you a must-own console that I promise you a number of retro game fans and just gamers in general simply do not have. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Wii U by Nintendo. Now, I will start off by saying Nintendo did a horrid, an atrocious job when it came to marketing this. Their marketing was so poor, most people didn't even know it was a console, myself included, and they never really gave it the chance it deserved. But the reality is, this is a must-own for a number of reasons, and I'm going to go over each of those with you after this. Now, while the Wii U might have been an absolute marketing disaster, I assure you it is a masterpiece from the perspective of gameplay and structural design. The outcome of this product far exceeded any of its predecessors, and so many people were truly shafted in not having the experience of playing this game, especially when it first came out. The Wii U console provides a unique level of gameplay between the gamepad and the screen that simply cannot be achieved elsewhere. And I know what you're thinking right from the beginning. Most of the titles on the Wii U at this point have been ported over to Switch. But here's the thing, the Nintendo Switch cannot duplicate the style of gameplay that the Wii U provides, especially given the gamepad. There are so many great things about this console, I could literally talk about it forever, but I'm gonna need to be sort of brief for the sake of the video, so let's get right into it. First of all, the Wii U does have an incredible library of games that equate to fantastic gameplay across the board. Now, because of most of them have been ported in the Switch, it stands to note that if you're any type of retro game collector, you're going to find much more value in the Wii U copies of these games, as they will certainly have more value in the future. So when you think of titles like Super Smash Bros., Bayonetta, or Mario Kart 8, don't concern yourself as much with the fact that they exist on the Switch if you're a collector, because you're going to want the Wii U copy for your collection. Now, if that's not something that's appealing to you and you simply want the gameplay aspect, by all means get them on the Switch, but note that there are many exclusive titles to the Wii U that not only will never be ported over to the Switch, but simply could not be ported over to the Switch in the same type of gameplay format. Some of those exclusive titles to the Wii U are things like Yoshi's Woolly World, an incredible crafted yarn-based Yoshi gameplay experience, a 2D platformer that will absolutely rock you. It's just a beautiful game through and through. Zombie U is also another exclusive game that cannot be duplicated because of the unique nature of its gameplay. The gamepad simply gives you an experience unlike anything else, and not enough people talk about it. But if we're being honest, Zombie U wasn't a home run of a title. It was actually one of the first titles released on the Wii U, so I'm not really going to use that as much of a talking point. Although, I do recommend getting Zombie U and playing through it. It will definitely be an entertaining experience, while it won't make your list of top games. Speaking of top games, one of those exclusive titles, Xenoblade Chronicles X, is one of the most amazing JRPGs you'll ever play. While it does suffer in terms of the combat, the open world experience here is unlike anything ever before it. I really think Mira must be one of the greatest open world concepts in the history of gaming. The story does get a little bit weird, but it is a must play on the Wii U, and you simply can't get it anywhere else. It's a game that simply feels like it does not end. There is so much going on and so many things to do. It's endless entertainment. Another reason that you should have the Wii U console is because one of the greatest characters and franchises in the history of gaming is well represented in the Wii U console, and that is Zelda. This is a beast when it comes to running Zelda games, because every 3D Zelda game and most of the classic games are available on this console, either via Virtual Console, Wii compatibility, or a remake or Wii U original. And two of those titles are remakes, Zelda Twilight Princess HD and Zelda Wind Waker HD, which bring magnificent color and redesign to two incredibly detailed and beautiful Zelda stories. As you probably just gathered from my previous statement, the Wii U is backwards compatible with Wii games, and not only that, but it actually upscales them for a better visual presentation. Another great note about this console is it can be played either on the television using the gamepad in conjunction with the television, or you can play alone specifically on the gamepad in a portable fashion. Now, I will mention the battery life on the gamepad is not great. But if it's something you're just moving around the house from room to room, it's certainly a great way to play as well. In addition, you don't have to take the sensor bar with you because the gamepad doubles as a sensor bar. Then, of course, for those who are into the emulation thing, you have to know this is a very easy console to hack. There's tons of emulation available, and you can stream PC titles and more. There's actually an entire Reddit page dedicated to this. Very similar to the Switch, it's an excellent console for retro gaming. I do believe there's a little bit more availability still at this time for the Wii U in terms of retro gaming, and when you consider the emulation possibilities, it really does make it an ideal console for that as well. Then, of course, what I think to be probably the most incredible point for a retro gamer like me, the collection aspect of this whole thing, the Wii U is absolutely going to be a collector's item. I liken it to the Dreamcast of old, a console that simply did not get enough marketing dollars, it was not marketed well enough, and it kind of flew under the radar, but after the fact, many people have grown to love it. I believe the Dreamcast is probably one of the greatest gaming systems ever. It's certainly one of my favorites. It has so many awesome titles, and the same is true with the Wii U. There are just some incredible titles to go along with this. It didn't get a lot of third-party support when it came out, so Nintendo had to carry that weight on its shoulders, and man, it did an incredible job in giving us some of the greatest games it's come out with to date. And let's be honest here, even though Nintendo Switch is a fantastic system with a lot of great titles, the best title in its entire library is almost unmistakably Zelda Breath of the Wild. And that was originally a Wii U title. And remember, the same can be said for Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros., and Super Mario Maker. So that goes to show just how great of a job Nintendo was doing at creating games for this console. I would much rather own a copy on Wii U for the collector's aspect. The gameplay is still going to be the same, and you have those unique aspects. I would be interested to see in some of these titles that have been ported over, what type of gamepad experience can I use in conjunction with this to make this all unique? Then, of course, there's just some additional points, like the gamepad can be used to control your TV like a remote control, and it just has a lot of other cool features as well, but I don't really want to get into those here. If you're someone who owns a Wii U or you're looking to get one, these are just some titles you should add to your list and eventually to your library. And now, guys, I want to give you my list for top 3 Wii U games. These are absolutely must-owns, something that I highly encourage you to get out and pick up while you can before it is too expensive. Get out there and get a copy. My number 3 title on the Wii U, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. You're talking about a masterpiece of 2D platforming. I don't think there's a single bad level in this entire thing. Donkey Kong feels heavy. It'll probably lead to some inconsistencies in the beginning, probably dying more than you'd expect. But once you get the hang of it, the gameplay is incredible. It is just a fun game. I think it sort of flew under the radar a little bit, even though DK is a huge name. But I think it's one of the best, if not the best, Donkey Kong game. And it's here on the Wii U, a must-own. The number 2 game on my list is most people's number 1, Splatoon. You talk about an incredible franchise. I was blown away by what Nintendo was able to accomplish through Splatoon. It's essentially a shooting game where it's not about killing each other, but covering as much of your turf in your unique ink color as possible. And, maybe taking out the enemy here from time to time as well. This is just so much fun. I love that it's so family friendly. I love that it's challenging. I love that you don't have to be great at it to jump right in and start playing. And the way Splatoon 1 is played on the Wii U is a unique experience that was never duplicated by Splatoon 2 on the Nintendo Switch. So the original Splatoon is still an exclusive Wii U title. Changing into a squid just to travel through your own paint and then popping up to attack someone simply never gets old. It's just too fun. This isn't just a fun game to play multiplayer, but it has an incredible story in the single player mode. It's absolutely fun from beginning to end. And here you have it, the #1 game on the Wii U, Nintendo Land. I'm going to go out and make this statement right from the beginning. It is the greatest party game ever. And I mean it, the greatest party game ever. You simply will not have more fun playing a video game with a group of people in a party setting than you will with Nintendo Land. I've mentioned it time and time again, the gamepad is so important with the Wii U, and this is the game that utilizes it in a genius level capacity to create a unique form of gameplay that cannot and has not ever been duplicated by any other system ever. There's endless mini games and modes. They're all based on different franchises throughout Nintendo. It's in so many ways a history of the Nintendo franchise as a game developer. And it's really eye-opening. It gives you a new appreciation for Nintendo as a whole. I mean, we're talking Zelda, we're talking Metroid, we're talking Mario. The list goes on and on. One thing I absolutely love is flinging ninja stars off of the gamepad onto the screen. If there was a downside to the Wii U system as a whole, it would be that not enough games made great use of the gamepad the way that it could have. And this is the game that sets that standard. This is the game that shows you how the gamepad was meant to be used. Another bold claim here, this is by far the most underrated game. Nintendo Land is a must-own. In fact, if you were to get a Wii U and you could only get one single game, Nintendo Land would be the game that I would recommend. And that is why it's my #1. And there you have it, the Wii U, the nearly forgotten console, the underappreciated console, the underrated console, the under-marketed console. Let me know if you have one. What are some of your favorite games? Sometimes when you're playing multiple consoles or you're collecting consoles, you know you're just duplicating the game experience with a slight difference in controller. This is an altogether unique experience, and I am thankful that I get to experience it, and I want other retro gamers to have that same capability as well. Go out and get you a Wii U, make it a part of your collection today.